Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 42. Yeah, baby. We've been off for a week, and the reason is I've actually been in the midst of a move. So I'm moving from one place to another, and I got to tell you, the moving process is a struggle. It's definitely annoying. I hate it every time I have to move anywhere. Packing, deciding what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep is always annoying and something I want to avoid, but I'm almost done now, and we were able to get together tonight to do a stream. I had a conversation with some of the other game changers here a little while ago, and I just wanted to talk because we were discussing some stuff, but more importantly, I wanted to get a live show out to you guys. The Alliance is actually, the Alpha of the Alliance is actually in the midst of a heroic Sith raid, and obviously there's a lot of stuff to talk about, being that there's going to be some changes to the raid and some things coming up next week. But Maurice, as always, is my co-host. And how you doing today, Golden Chinchilla? How's everything going?
Going well, man. Going well.
Yeah. So right now we have on screen some footage of actually the tier 6 of the raid I had from last week. I just wanted to show some footage of this P4 here. We're actually going to go into the raid that's live here in a few minutes. But what are your thoughts about the upcoming changes to some of these characters? Obviously, there's been some characters that I don't think you want to call them an exploit, but they're characters that are showing very good results in this raid. And I think maybe they kind of broke some of the mechanics of the raid, and they're looking to make some adjustments to those characters, or how those characters actually interact with the raid, in order to make it a little bit more difficult for you to defeat the raid. What do you think about some of the changes that are coming?
Well, the list on the floor just seems to affect, all the characters in the game that have some sort of, upon being damaged, sort of element in their kit seem to be getting kind of tweaked. I mean, Stormtrooper Han is the obvious one. A lot of people are kind of using it. Like I said, it tinkers on the verge of an exploit, but it's not really an exploit, I guess. But like even characters like you might not even know, like Kylo Ren, for example. When he does when he takes damage, he stacks offense, he stacks defense, and every time one of those bonds, every move you made, just stacked his offense, stacked his defense. So it affects a lot of characters across the board, and it's something I don't know. Better now than never. I mean, at least they caught it early, I guess. Be positive about it. It was caught early. Not too many guilds have really gotten to the point of relying on it to conquer this new content. So, everyone got. There might be a handful of guilds that got a little taste, but for the most part, I think it was caught early enough on to not really, people haven't had time to really invest in characters they may or may not have had yet. Stuff like that. I think a lot of stuff was avoided.
Yeah, I mean, I understand some people are upset about this, and I personally, I don't think it's such a big deal, because I think that there have been crazier changes in the game than this one, and I think there will be crazier changes in the game in the future than this one, but I think that, I understand, being that, in the first couple of weeks, you probably made some adjustments. Also, there was a benefit to having, Raid Jedi training, that, if some of these things get nerfed, may change that benefit. But I still think that there's going to be characters and teams that kind of break the mechanics of the raid, and we'll figure those out over time. I'm sure the developers do extensive testing, to see what characters they think initially are going to work. And, in a game like this, it's important that they control the meta, right? Because they want to know which characters they can feed you that are going to be the ones that are going to defeat the content, okay? And that's the way they can kind of control the pricing and, which way the game is going. So that's not something that really was there when this game first came out. Like, when the game first came out, it seemed like the characters that they really didn't want to be the best characters were the best characters. Like, I'm sure when they first dropped this game, their plans weren't for Geonosian Soldier and for First Order TIE Pilot to be the dominant characters in this game, but they were, right? And It takes, we're now 3 years into the cycle of this game, almost 3 years into the cycle of this game, and they're obviously much better now at balancing these characters and putting them out balanced initially. So that's why the best characters in the game are the face characters now, and obviously bringing in Rey Jedi Training is a huge meta character. CLS is a huge meta character. All these characters are coming into the game as meta characters, top of the meta characters, and kind of falling in line with the type of rarity that they are. So since they're heroes' journey characters, or if you want to call them legendary characters, they're going to be of the top tier. So and you look at some of the characters that are legendary characters like them. Like, for example, I'd probably say now the worst of them would be Yoda. But I mean, like, Han Solo, great ever since he got his Zeta upgrade. Wampa and Hermit Yoda are pretty much legendary characters as well. 5-star. They are fantastic characters in this game. They're fantastic in raids. They're fantastic in territory battles. You have obviously General Kenobi, fantastic character. Any of these characters that are like these legendary chase characters, CLS, Rey Jedi Training, BB-8, R2-D2, Grand Admiral Thrawn, they're all fantastic characters, right? So, and that's been kind of the trend since they started really controlling the meta in this game. It's been a big difference from the way it was before. So now I feel like they have a better idea of which way they're going with some of the balances in the game when they drop content like new raids, and maybe they just kind of missed this one. And that happens. I mean, listen, there's so many mechanics in this game now with 3 different raids, 2 different types of territory battles, all these new different synergies between different factions and Sith and dark side, light side. I mean, so it's very easy to see that you can miss 1 or 2 mechanics here or there during testing that kind of get overlooked in the process. And I don't really have a huge problem with the adjustment. I know that some people do. I just feel like I guess I don't really want the raid to be already so easily defeated, through one character. I'd rather still try to figure this one out. And the raid is so early in its life that I feel like if they were going to make an adjustment like this, now would be the right time. Just kind of like you said. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's it's important to note that, I mean, it really just kind of makes that stage. I mean, have you done any of the raid with Stormtrooper Han yet?
A few of us tried it out. We're just doing the P6. We haven't done the heroic. Tried it out, and to be honest, like, the people that have pulled this off, they must have a much better device than I do. Because I mean, it just, like, it was getting hot and just stalling out. I was getting like 2, maybe 3 basic attacks like a minute. Like, it was going so slow. It just, I took it off auto and just, I think I just, used some basic abilities, tried not to attack Trey just so she would just finish me off. I mean, I just wanted to get it done. I mean, it takes, God, I can only imagine how long it takes to solo the Bay doing this trick. I mean, you're talking probably multiple hours. Probably 2-3 hours at least, yeah? I mean, is that wrong?
It seems like it takes a long time, yeah. I mean, again, I haven't done it personally, so I don't know. But I mean, I've seen other people do it, and it does seem to take a while.
That's clearly not the way it should be. Like the Stormtrooper Han and these characters that are gaining effects from being damaged by this bond's weakness. I think it's what it's called, the bond's weakness. Is that right?
Yeah.
Trey's blue buff that just stacks and stacks. That's clearly not how it's supposed to be. In terms of the raid, there's different viewpoints on it. It is what it is. They're fixing it, and so as a community, we need to adapt and learn how to beat it better. I guess I don't know. Like, it is what it is, and it's still a new raid. I think we're on our maybe 3rd T6. It's not like we've had tons of experience with it ourselves. We don't know what the best teams are yet. No one in the community does, just like the P2. I mean, for those of us that have played the game for a couple of years when the tank raid came out, P2, the go-to team out of the gate was droids, and there are a lot of us more veteran players that reluctantly have like year 10 and year 11 droids because of that, and now we don't use it for anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, in a month from now, somebody might come up with a team that everyone can field easily. It's like, oh, this is way better. So who knows? I mean, the community is full of bright minds. We'll see what everybody comes up with.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, listen, I don't doubt for a second that we will figure out what the best team is, or what some of the better characters are. That and it's not going to be Rey. It's going to be somebody else. I mean, it's the way it always is. In the HAT for the longest time, it was clones. In the in the Rancor before Zetas anyway, with Zader, it was the Ewoks with Tebow and using Ewok Elder to revive, and it was just trying out different combinations and finding some interesting characters that are going to get it done. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a face character or somebody that's already an established legendary character in this game. So I don't know. I think it'll be fun to try to figure it out again, because after this update, it will kind of essentially be like a new raid again. We'll have to figure out from scratch what works and what doesn't work, and how much damage we can actually do with the Rey Jedi training team now, and see which teams that we really need to be facing, and that will change a lot of things. Not only will it change, what we're doing in the raid, but it'll also change, recruiting. It'll change a lot of different things. So, it's important to just kind of, I guess, embrace any of these changes, because at the end of the day, if you look at it as a negative thing, it's just going to kind of ruin your experience of the entire game. And you just understand that I understand that it's a big change, and again, maybe not what you expected, but ultimately change is a part of the game. It's something that's never going to not be a part of the game, and I don't know. I feel like one of the more important things that we can do, as oh man, that was a bad move. It's tough to sometimes talk and do like these, do the live shows and concentrate really well when I'm doing here, and I just got wiped out. Basically, I gotta restart this. But
that would be funny.
Yeah, I was thinking too. I should throw up the shield with her, but I really wanted to get that that isolate off of her first. Whatever, but. Yeah, no, just to reiterate, again, I think that, it's you don't want to have the Sith raid figured out already in week 2. We want to have to try to play test it and figure out some different options, and even though some of the mechanics may change a little bit, for all raids because of this. That may make some of the other raids more interesting too. I mean, who knows? I feel like some of the raids are just way too easy. But anyway, more importantly, I know that there's a lot of different feelings about it, and I think that personally it's a good thing. I don't think it's something that you should be upset about personally, but. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and we'll see after the changes are made, what works and what doesn't work, and then after the changes are done, we can really formulate our opinions about how good or not good the update is. Any thought?
Everyone's all up in arms, ready to have a temper tantrum about it. It might be super minor. It might not be nearly as bad as everybody thinks. You never know. Arnold said it best in his reaction video to this. It was, if we survive mod game, we can survive anything. I thought that was perfect.
Right.
He nailed it there. So I mean, it's a big deal because it's fresh, and 2, 3, weeks, months, whatever from now, we're not even remembering this. We're gonna be so used to the raid the way it was intended to be, and life goes on. I mean, so be it.
It's true. It's true. It's just it'll become second nature eventually, but it doesn't have to be the first week. Um, yeah, I'm getting my butt whooped here. Yeah, I just my Rage Jedi training team is now. I really need to. I think I choose a different fifth rather than Ray Scavenger because she's getting killed really too easily. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some interesting new options to look at, and once the update drops, we'll be able to play around with it and figure it out. It should be fun. It'll be like trying a new raid basically because again, the things that were working before aren't going to be working. So, um, let me see. Let me go with this. All right, so other than that, I mean, is there any other news really to discuss? I mean, that's come out. I mean, really, the majority of the talk that I've seen has been about this.
Not so much really news. Just like there was a list of characters that they gave. I'll try to pull it up just so I can see what they are. There's a list of characters they gave that they're making tweaks to. Um, I think the Resistance, maybe the Exposed, like Death Trooper was not on there. I don't think was Death Trooper on there.
No,
Let me let me just look it up. But it is like the veterans were on there. Kylo Ren, like I mentioned, was on there.
I don't think
There was a couple other characters towards the bottom. I didn't personally even realize that they weren't working as intended. But basically, all the characters that have some sort of effect, like when they're damaged, whether it be like Stormtrooper Han gets a turn meter, Kylo Ren, stacks offense, defense, stuff like that. Anything like any character that has something like that in their kit is being adjusted to flow with the bonds of weakness properly. I don't think any of the characters themselves. I don't know. I guess we're going to see this week. So
yeah, no, I don't think they're making any adjustments to Death Trooper. I think he's remaining the same, but yeah, we'll have to see. Let me get Sith Assassin here. She has shock on her. Oh.
this P4 looks like it's a lot of fun.
It's really it's really a blast. I got to tell you, just having every team that you have just die. It's amazing. This is that's what this is all about. No, but it's cool. I mean, listen, it's supposed to be hard. I'm in here. I'm trying to figure this out. It's they're supposed to kick my butt. This is like a Sith raid. This is supposed to be end game content right now. So, he's gonna get that annihilate pretty soon, but not yet.
It's kind of unpredictable, right? Like,
well, his annihilate's ready for the next turn. It's kind of unpredictable, yeah.
Well, he can't do it this turn, but I'm having trouble with that. Like, he'll be ready, and I'll pop that shield move, where it just absorbs all the damage, and then all of a sudden, like, he just decides not to annihilate me, and just basically attacks me twice, and then my shield wears off, and he annihilates me the next turn. It drives me insane when that happens, but.
I wonder why. Is that pain mechanic actually preventing Rey from healing? Because I feel like she should be healing with her.
He's gonna pop that annihilate off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is not good.
No, she's healing, and she just those bonds of weakness are getting strong, and she just takes the beating from that. Yeah,
I just got destroyed again. All right, we'll we'll jump back in here again in a moment, but first I wanted to go through the meta report real quick. So there's been some drastic changes here in the meta report. We've got Emperor Palpatine pretty much taken the majority of the pie here. He's completely trumped Rey Jedi Training, and behind Rey Jedi Training, who is second on this list, is now Rex over CLS. So Rex is actually a more used leader right now than CLS is. Are you looking at this? I mean, do you see all the changes that are made? I mean, Kylo Ren on Mass is there at the end, but with Grand Admiral Thrawn. But I mean, it seems like it's just really an Emperor Palpatine meta right now.
Oh, it's 100% is the Emperor Palpatine meta.
Why do you think that is?
Because they gave him a pretty awesome rework, and everybody already had it. You could field a competitive arena team with one Zeta instantly.
I'm surprised. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought my feedback was pretty bad at first, and I didn't anticipate. I mean, I know that Rey's feedback was kind of bad at first too, and then I mean, look what happened with her. But I'm kind of surprised that it went completely the opposite direction. It was like, I mean, there were a lot of people like really hesitant to put that Zeta on Palpatine or put the Zeta on Vader, and now. I mean, it's all Palpatine. I mean, he's just literally cleaning the board up. He's number one by a large margin. So, I don't know. Is your whole arena Palpatine?
Yeah, pretty much. All of it. And then there's a few of the Rex, Townsend, Wampa teams, and that's it.
Do you think we're going to see Scion on the top 10 squad members at rank 1?
I do not think so. No.
No, okay.
It's a little
It's a little too early for him yet, but yeah, no, it's an interesting top of the leaders board here. So I mean, you have Asajj Ventress actually right behind Mother Talzin, Admiral Akbar still there with those Hermit Yoda teams, General Kenobi, then followed by Grand Admiral Thrawn and Kylo Ren unmasked. But Rex, obviously being the anti-meta for everything, is working his way up the list. So I'm sure we'll see him eventually pass Rey Jedi Training at some point. We'll have to see. But Rex, ever present in the meta. Moving along, we're going to go to the top 10 squad members at rank 1. And we're looking at Grand Admiral Thrawn as the number 1 squad member at rank 1. Wow. Followed by General Kenobi, Emperor Palpatine, and then Darth Nihilus, then Darth Vader, then R2-D2. Wasn't R2-D2 at the top of this list last week?
I think so. Him and Kenobi were 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, CLS is the bottom of this list. CLS is number 10.
Those 5 characters right there are probably the number 1 rated team going right now. At least the most popular. So that just goes right along with the Emperor Palpatine as the top leader.
So the most popular team right now going is Emperor Palpatine with Thrawn, Kenobi, Nihilus, and Vader.
Apparently so. That's pretty popular on my chart. Some people use the Sith Trooper. That's pretty much it. Those 5 characters, Sith Trooper. We have a couple Scions. That pretty much makes up the whole character pool of what everybody's using right now.
It's nuts.
A few short troopers, I guess, are in the mix too. But
so, I mean, Empire and Sith taking over the meta, and that trend, I think, is just going to continue with the unlocking of Darth Traya whenever that does happen, because now that has definitely been pushed back for many people. Because with the changes being made, it'll be probably a little bit longer before we get to that first unlocking, or at least before the majority of the player base gets a chance to unlock Darth Traya, and I'm sure she's going to be a big game changer too whenever that happens. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting mix up here. Grand Admiral Thrawn taking rank 1 over R2-D2. And really, I mean, the Sith and the Empire with Vader and Nihilus and Palpatine kind of rounding out the top 5 characters here in the top 10 squad members at rank 1. So that's pretty interesting. But we're going to go on to our top 5 this week. And the Alliance Live Show's top 5 for this week is top 5 free-to-play characters for the Sith Raid. Okay, now we know that this may change a little bit here next week, but we wanted to put together the top 5 free-to-play characters for the Sith Raid as of today, And who starts us off here at number 5, Maurice?
All right. Well, yeah. Just a little disclaimer. We want to do something a little more interesting, but with all these changes coming, I personally feel this list is pretty safe. Go ahead and start working on getting ready. Number 5 is going to be. I'm not sure he's ever made a top 5 list. Resistance Trooper is going to be your 5th best free-to-play characters you want to start prepping up for the raid. Just Jedi Training Raid, Jedi Training Raid, Jedi Training Raid. It is the go-to team at this point in the raid. Even if you guys don't have Rey, she will come back around, just like CLS did not too long ago. She'll be back around, so you're going to have this Resistance Trooper ready for these raid teams, and he's mandatory in any sort of Finn team too. Like him, Poe, and Finn make up the trio of the who you want to use your 4th and 5th is up for debate, but those 3 are always in the team. Not a terrible character, has this spell in his kit that exposes on his basic. And anytime a character gets exposed underneath the Rey or Finn, he's going all the time. He gets turn meter from that anytime a character gets exposed. So just a very nice PvE style character.
Right. I mean, with a Rey Jedi training team, I mean, he's a no-brainer. He basically adds versatility. He adds turn meter manipulation because of the fact that he constantly is going, and his special, which does a ton of damage, gets cooldowns whenever he actually hits somebody with a debuff. So, tons of debuffs when you're running a Rey Jedi training team, and he's obviously a great character to get called in if you're running with a Hermit Yoda as well, because his basic inflicts and expose as well. Now, again, all these things will change a little bit as the expose mechanic changes, because he, runs heavily on expose. So the less expose that's used, the less viable Resistance Trooper will be. But I still think that expose will be an important mechanic. I think even with the changes to expose, there's still going to be a necessity for expose, if that makes any sense. So I think it will be still an important mechanic in the raid.
Well, expose aside, he's so great for P1 of this raid is because you have to special attack Nihilus to get to his health bar, right? You got to drain his protection, you got to stick him with special attacks so he doesn't get his protection back. And underneath that Rey lead, that cooldown of his special, he can essentially do it every single turn. So you can just constantly just pump Nihilus just full of special attacks. I personally, I like him on my P1 team a lot. Some of the other phases, I might use a different 5, but he's definitely locked in on my P1 Rey team as of right now, for sure.
Okay. Now, number 4 best free-to-play character for the Sith raid right now is General Veers. Tell me why you think this, as I'm kind of curious to know.
Well, General Veers, as of right now, the two of the most successful teams, Stormtrooper Han and these characters are fixing aside, are your Rey Jedi training and your Imperial Troopers. Imperial Troopers, I haven't personally done the heroic raid myself, but I know in the T6 and the T6, they're the go-to team for P3. You can use Veer, use 4 Troopers, Veer Starks. Who am I missing here? Oh, Death Troopers, definitely mandatory. And then either Shore Trooper or Snow, depending on who you have. And then you're going to use Thrawn. And he's the lead of this team because he's pumping his turn meter. And so you fracture Traya, Death Mark Traya, and you just keep that fracture up the whole time. So these characters have, not only are they not only are they slowing down the fracture, they're buffing themselves, giving them turn meter, getting all sorts of goodies from that Veer's lead. He's essential to this raid at this point in it. I think the Imperial Troopers, the team itself, he pairs great with Death Mark.
Right.
You want Death Mark, right? That's what this raid is. That's the easiest way to do the raid right now is exposing Death Mark. So
exposing Death Mark
for the Trooper team.
Pretty much, Death Trooper and Death Mark seems to be the replacement here for expose, and Death Mark pretty much is an jacked up expose. So I mean, it's a better version of expose. So if one mechanic fails you, move on to the other, and it's actually pretty interesting because within a Imperial Troopers team, obviously when you're all being focused on a character that gets, let's say you get a called in for an assist, and everybody focuses on one character that already has death mark. I mean, you're doing a ton of damage to that character, and yeah, General Veers obviously is a necessity to that team. So he's somebody who's going to enhance the capabilities of all the Imperial troopers and an essential piece to any Death Trooper team that you're putting together. So for sure, he's definitely an important piece. So number 3, best free-to-play character for the Sith raid is going to be Asajj Ventress. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of the videos out there, and seen what an Asajj Ventress lead can do. Why do you think she's an essential character or essential free-to-play character for the Sith raid?
Well, her turn meter reduction does work in certain phases of the raid. It's just her unique. It just stacks offense. It's very, very few characters, or maybe, I mean, I haven't really seen any in this raid that can pump out the damage over the course of 15 turns, like she can, like the 15 turns from the raid. She can, especially if you have, the squishy zombie, you really get that damage build and really get it going. And there's so many elements in this raid that go right after your health. If you have that Zeta on the Asajj lead, you get turn meter when you go below 100% health. And if you can use DACA, you can use Asajj's, Dispel move that heals the team. Talia heals the team on her basic. There's just all sorts of elements because they're going to be taking your health away. You can get it right back up to full, lose it again, and get turn meter with it. So it's a great leader ability, great option for this raid. And then also that you don't even really need. It's helpful. I mean, it's definitely helpful, but it's not mandatory that Zeta on her unique. She can do it. She can still pump massive damage without it. Definitely a character. If you ever already started working on her, from all my hype up from the last 6 months, and now's a very good time to start. She's easy to gear.
Are you still sleeping with your Asajj Ventress blow up doll at night, or Asajj Ventress stuffed animal?
Oh well, my stubborn butt still run her in arena and fall to the 30s every night.
You still run her in arena? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my new team's not quite ready, man. I'm lacking some omegas to really make it work.
How are the Night Sisters as a whole in arena right now? Are they still a viable team, or kind of?
Yes. Well, offensively, defensively, I guess I'm just like punching back my server right now. I can climb fine against the faster Vaders. I do have to put in Han somewhere on my team just to stun Vader and just shut the team down. But
right, and
it still works.
They're still an essential team for TW as well. So, all right, but Asajj Ventress obviously has tons of applications. I mean, her turn meter reduction is great. I mean, obviously stunning on a basic is fantastic, and I mean, just with the ability to enhance, I mean, her damage over time is fantastic. I mean, how much of a damage bonus does she get? I think it's what's it, like a 10% increase or 5%? How much is her damage stack?
I think it's 10% without the Zeta, and then maybe 15. But see, the reason that Zeta is so useful is that she gets turn meter when an enemy dies, and there's really not that many like little minions for you to kill. So they'll pull up the occasional Marauder and Assassin, but you're going to get more bonus. If you have a squishy zombie, if you have not developed your zombie and have her 7-star or 6-star, whatever rate you're doing, if she's not developed, she's going to die more often than anybody in the other opposing team. But
exactly.
It's 10% offense without the Zeta, 15 with. She also gets a stacking crit chance.
Okay. Okay. And our number 2 character, free to play for the Sith raid, is Rey Scavenger. So, why do you think Rey Scavenger ahead of Resistance Trooper here?
Well, Rey Scavenger gets that's your damage. You gotta. Everybody's responsible. Now, when you get up to this heroic, everybody's responsible for their 2% per phase, right? And she really dishes out the damage. Gets lots of turn meter, gives out the exposed. If you have her modded properly, or well, rather, she's be critting a lot. Lots of exposes. You can call her in with assists. BB-8 will call her in if you have that Zeta on him. As an assist, she's an option. Just goes along with the Jedi training rate. Yeah, you want resistance in there because benefits from each other underneath that lead. So she's your big damage dealer.
Yeah,
and again, the cooldowns get cooled down. So she's got, again, great for people on, because you have to special attack Nihilus for cooldowns where get refreshed. She has 2 of them to choose from. She gets 4. She gives herself foresight, which can really be helpful because the Nihilus Force Drain, when he does it packs a punch in this raid, right? And if the character has foresight on, they'll deflect it. So. She's very, very squishy, but she does have a little bit of survivability with some practice. You can time it properly. And she's got a lot of health still, too, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously her health regeneration with every attack that she does is fantastic, really for any raid. And she has, since her release, been always one of the top damage-dealing characters in the game, and very fast character, so... overall, I mean, just as a character in general, I mean, she used to be the best character in this game for quite some time. I mean, I remember sitting there late nights sweating, pulling hard nodes trying to get ray shards because she was amazing. But I mean, her applications in arena have kind of fallen to the wayside. But in this raid, she's definitely an important piece, and I was trying to use her before. She definitely is a large damage dealer. Again, you have to be able to use her correctly, and know when to use your soothe, or whatever phase of the raid you're using her in. You need to know when to use her mechanics correctly. But she's definitely an essential character, and can be a great addition to a Raid Jedi training team for sure. So, number 1, free to play Sith Raid character is, drum roll please, Death Trooper. If we didn't talk about him enough already, if you didn't think he was going to be on this list somewhere, then you were mistaken. Why is Death Trooper the most important free to play character?
Well, we're about to enter the post-cheese phase of this raid. His death mark just does absurd amounts of damage, just going right after that health. I know the T6, I mean, it doesn't matter how hard your actual character hits, the death mark damage itself is like 43,000 per hit. And especially, and if you, again, with Veers, Veers can do his AoE, it calls all the troopers to assist. That's just 40k, 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 40k all at once. So that's insane. Good character. He's got 2 specials again. If you were to use him against Nihilus, P4, P1, you can damage Nihilus directly. It's insane how cool that ability is. And it's finally coming. I think it does require an Omega, but I don't think it requires a Zeta. You don't need a Zeta on him at all. He's a hard farm, but he's worth every energy you spend on him. He's a great character. He's essential. I would say mandatory for dark side territory battles. So you're getting the 2-for-1 value there. He's got a great ship, 3-for-1 value. I mean, you should have this character, whether it has to do with this raid or not. But in this raid, he's something else, man. He really, really shines.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, all around with the mechanic of Deathmark, being that he's the only one that does that, and he's got, the ability to daze an enemy, which prevents the counterattacks, or being called in for an assist. He also has the ability to stun a target if they're already dazed. And yeah, I mean, with the exposed mechanic getting a slight nerf or getting a damage decrease, the fact that the death mark will still be working as intended is a huge bonus. And we'll have to see how everything shakes out next week once we get some more information on the updates that are going to come out. And I'm sure nothing's 100% final yet, but whatever happens, I'm sure he will still be at the top of the list here of characters that are a necessity for this raid, especially free-to-play characters that are a necessity for this raid. And he's very easily attainable through the Cantina store. So through the Cantina missions. So you can farm him relatively quickly. And obviously, Deathmark, not just a great option for the raid, with all the Emperor Palpatines you're seeing out there, you could kind of use this guy pretty much anywhere right now. So, just a great overall character, and adds a lot of viability to a an Imperial Trooper team here in the Sith raid. So definitely a huge character, and probably will continue to play a major role in this raid going forward. But we want to add an honorable mention, and this is kind of a mix of both, just some humor and also rubbing some salt in the wound. But it's our character of the month, Stormtrooper Han.
Honorable mention, because that's all he's going to be from here on out. Just a mention, a little asterisk.
At one point, he was the meta. Yeah, he was the meta for this raid.
One time we beat the Sith raid. Yeah, we had Stormtrooper Han. Yeah, that one time. These 7 trash yards we all look at every day. Yeah, thank you, Stormtrooper Han.
Stormtrooper Han was it. Yeah, no, Stormtrooper Han was basically the definition of this raid for the first couple of weeks. So, remember that time when Stormtrooper Han worked? That'll be what we all say. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that rounds out the top 5 free to play characters for the Sith Triumvirate raid, and that's courtesy of good old Maurice and the Alliance. Definitely, a great list. We're going to come back next week with another interesting list for you. I think we might be doing top 5 Zetas, but we'll definitely give you an answer on that as we get there. But definitely great top 5 list. Now, moving along, I know we have some questions here in the comment section. I'm going to go into doing some more of the Sith raid here. You want to just read off to me a couple of the questions I guess they started asking. If you guys have any more questions or any topics you'd like to discuss, we're going to be keeping the show a little bit brief tonight because we did start so late, and I'm going to try to get in a nice battle here, and then we'll answer some questions while we do that.
Just a few have trickled in here at the end. Nate Van Coopering. I see what he did there. Okay. What Zeta would you put on Tarkin?
Like for the raid, or like just in general?
Well, I don't think it really matters. I would say none. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're
don't
put
it.
The point of the game where I don't know. I would not Zeta Tarkin. I mean, if you're thinking about doing it for the ship aspect of it, I could see that, but just be patient. You'll get Chimera eventually. It's a better capital ship. Let me see exactly what these Zetas do add to it. Now, I guess I would probably do his unique. If I had to pick one to be his unique, because he will gain potency for each debuffed enemy, and I'm pretty sure that potency translates into extra damage on his AoE. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm very noobish when it comes to Tarkin. He's just one of those characters I could never really get to work. I don't think his leadership. I haven't personally tried it, but it doesn't look very good on paper. It's just +2 speed for all the Empire allies. You inflict expose for 2 turns when they fall below 100% health. That's really. I don't personally feel that's worth a Zeta investment, especially with his capital ship being somewhat dated and not the best one anymore. So,
yeah, no,
there's so many other. If you're looking,
I don't think so either.
They're a lot better off.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think you put a Zeta on Tarkin at all. But I mean, if you're going to, I wouldn't put it on his leader. Because again, I mean, his leader is just. I mean, there's so many better options for Empire and for I mean, just for Empire. I mean, like overall. I mean, if you had a choice right now, I'd rather run Grand Admiral Thrawn, Palpatine. I'd rather run Veers. I mean, there's just better options than Tarkin. So I mean, I don't know, that's my thought process behind it.
All right, next one comes from Keyboard. She's changed her name to Keyboard Planet Eater now. It says, I have a Zeta Finn, or I got my Zeta Finn yesterday. Should I Zeta Veers next?
She got a Zeta Finn yesterday. Should she Zeta Veers today?
Her next, she's asking, yeah, golly, should she Zeta Beers as her next investment? Should Beers be her next Zeta?
Um,
I
I
guess,
mean,
I guess it depends on what is important to your guild and what you guys are really focusing on. If you're focusing on this Sith raid, you're focusing on like dark side territory battles. I would say yes. If you're in a guild, because I remember we did your roster review. If you're in a guild that's somewhat newer, but still tackling light side territory battles and stuff like that, you probably safe to hold off on it just for a little bit. It is one you definitely want to consider. It's got lots of uses in the game now, especially since these Imperial Troopers got reworked, a few months back. It's one to keep on the table. Yeah, yeah, do it eventually, but maybe not right now. It depends. It shouldn't be one of your first 3 or 4 Zetas. It should not be.
yeah, no, I agree.
Um, let's see. We had them pouring in now. Hold on a second here. Um, that part. Do you think we will get a level cap increase, seeing as the heroic Sith raid bosses are level 100? Might be a sign. This comes from Christopher Miller.
I would say yes. I mean, do I think it's happening tomorrow? No, but I think that we are overdue. Oh, man. I'm just getting wiped out. It's like I can't seem to get the right. I'm trying to get isolate off array and then heal. Man. Yeah, but I do think that we'll see a level cap increase. I mean, I don't know when. I think it'll be sooner rather than later. I also think we're going to get ship hardware. I think we're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff. I don't think we're gonna see anything like that over the next like 30 days. I think it'll be probably something that happens towards the summer, if at all. But I mean, it's been over a year since we got a level cap increase, and like you said, I mean, some of these characters are at 100, and we're only at 85. So I think that we'll probably get an increase to 90 at some point, and that'll also increase some of the we'll get increased. We'll get increased matches for challenges. So, for example, like we'll get more ability match challenges, possibly getting an opportunity to maybe get Zetas out of those daily challenges, and I think we'll also get some new levels for Cantina and for Light Side and Dark Side, and that'll be interesting because it'll probably come with new farmable characters and possibly new ways to farm certain types of gear that have otherwise been unattainable to us at this point. So I mean, some of the gear that we've only been able to get some from either the HAAT raid or the Rancor raid will probably become farmable. I'm sure we'll see MK5 droid callers and MK7 Nubian security scanners become farmable objects at some point. From either hard nodes or from Cantina nodes, or not Cantina, so from hard nodes or from some of the new nodes that come up in the new levels for light side, dark side. So it'll be interesting to see. And with that comes a whole bunch of new challenges. I know it was when the last level cap increase was here, everybody was having trouble with that snow trooper battle, shore trooper battle in there. Or that level to get short trooper shards when that was made a farmable location. But again, it's just going to take it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and I think if we were to get one, the timing of it should really be hinged on the reaction and just how these changes they're making next week affect the raid. If it does make the raid extremely difficult and which it should be, but if it makes it like super intense, they could always, maybe expedite that process and get us the level cap increase faster to make it a little more easy, lighten the load a little bit of the raid. But if they make these changes, I do think what's coming yet. So as you mentioned, it's not just a proof level 90, level 95, level 100, whatever it's going to be. It does come with like a full, almost like a game update in the past. Like you said, the challenges. There's new tiers for stuff. in the past, I think we're out of boards on the light side, dark side. In the past, you know, it opens up these the final nodes on the PvE content that we couldn't access before. All sorts of stuff comes with it. So you might want to save some credits just to be safe. Don't be really picky with these mods in the mod store. Like don't just go nuts on them and drain all your credits, because then it could happen in 2 weeks from now and you just have no credits. So it's just something to plan for. Yeah. I can't think of the math off the top of my head here, but it's going to be an expensive adventure to get characters just to 86. To get a full arena team 86. You're talking. These credit heists we're getting are about to start leveling up like 5 to 10 characters. That's pretty insane if you think about it. So.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, I mean, only time will tell. I think that we're definitely on the cusp of some major changes as far as like that's concerned. I think we're definitely getting like level cap increase. I think we're getting some new additions to ships eventually. I just think some of the basics of this game have kind of run their course to now the point where we're overdue for a whole bunch of different things that we haven't had in a while. So I don't know. I see in the comments here Omega saying that JTR is dead for sure. I don't think so. I think she'll still be an important character in the game. I think she'll still be one of the better characters in the game. I just don't think she's going to be the only character in the game anymore. I think there'll be other options.
Well, people are just, I understand the hostility and why people are upset. I do, but the raid's been out for, what, a week or two? Like,
right.
We haven't found the puzzle pieces yet. We haven't discovered them. So everyone just the one team we found, out of probably the dozens that are viable that we haven't found yet. They tweak one of them and everyone's just up in arms. Just there's an element of creativity and discovery in this game. There's a lot of things we don't know about this raid yet. There's just we got to see how it works. I mean, all this huff and fuss could be over nothing, and it's a minor change. Who knows? We'll know. We'll know next week. So.
You could have let my side. You could have let my Hermit Yoda escape. That was not nice. 224K. What an awesome run.
24K?
224K. What a joke.
Is that 2%?
No. It's not 2%. I don't even think that's 2% of Nihilus. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, that's just a failure, is what that is. But, fortunately, I have a lot more characters.
I'm trying to round up. I saw another one. Okay. Keyboard asked another one. Does she go for Hoda or Wampa first?
Hoda or Wampa? It's a good question. I would say right now, I'd say right now, I don't know. I kind of feel like Wampa.
Tough for me to say because I don't have Wampa unlocked yet to fool around with. I do like Hoda a lot. And both these characters, just in terms of overall gameplay, I mean they're both great for their respective territory battles. Hoda, I personally use both the characters. You can come close to, if not solo, the entire tank raid. There's been videos and screenshots of people using both of these characters to complete the entire raid. I guess a lot to say. If you have a pretty stacked Jedi team, if you have nice Jedi to kind of pair with Hoda, like Kenobi, Ezra, Kanan, Anakin, I guess, Ayla. If you've got the goods Jedi wise, I would go ahead and do Hoda. If your Jedi are kind of weak, then go Wampa. You're not going to be disappointed with either one. You're eventually going to have them both. You're going to need them both. Very long term, I know, but you'll have them both eventually. Just flip a coin, I guess, if you will. I can't.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's really either way you can't go wrong. But of course, I think I'm just thinking to myself, for myself, like I personally prefer Hoda, but I mean, again, if I was just trying to think of overall viability, somebody who's going to help you out more right now, I think Wampa brings a little bit more to the table with his benefit and some of the other content as well. But that's just my opinion. I think Wampa also is a great character for this raid. I think that Wampa does a ton of damage, and his damage stacks over time. I think especially with the Sith meta or the Empire meta right now in play. There's a lot more people running Vaders and things like that. I think Wampa definitely has his place there, but Hoda will still always be a great character too, because I mean, again, Hoda adds a ton of benefits.
Well, Wampa is going to be a better arena character, I think for sure. So if you're looking for arena improvement, I would go Wampa. You already said the Omega one. Nice and dark. Thank you, Omega.
Thanks for that.
Someone said we're dead. Alright, Jay Stat. Should I get my Jedi Rey her last 2 Zetas or hop on the Sith train and Zeta Palpatine? I'm assuming you have her lead. So the last 2 would be her 2 uniques. I would do to make sure I got the name proper here. I would do the one. I would not do the one where she cleanses herself. I would do the other one. For trying to find the right proper name of it here. You could do Palpatine, and then you could do the unique, the first unique on her. You can do them both, and then still have them. Either way, I'm not a big fan of the. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Virtuous Protector. I'm not a big fan of that one. All that it does when she suffers the debuff, she has a 40% chance to dispel the debuffs on her. If you talk about for arena, that kind of cripples you against these Palpatine leads if she's just cleansing herself every time. It's just speed and turning of the team. Insight is the name of the unique I would do first. I would do that one first to kind of complete your team there. I would do one of BB-8 as well. His unique, where he calls in another resistance item assist. If you don't have that one, that would be probably a better investment than the Virtuous Protector. So do both. Do Xeno Palpatine and then Insight, and you're good to go.
Agreed.
Let's see.
Again, guys, if you have any more questions.
No, that's about it. They didn't come in till the end. There's not too many questions tonight, so. Mega's talking junk.
Yeah, he's always talking junk. But what I've learned from doing this P4 here is I just have to get better at this game. Yeah, so I just have to learn how to play this game and talk at the same time. But I will continue to work on my struggles.
50%.
Huh?
So throw in one more team there, you might get you 2%. So
yeah. No, I'll get my 2%. That's for sure. But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody checking out the stream. We're gonna go ahead and call it a day here. We're gonna call it a nerf. We're gonna call it a Stormtrooper Han here now at the moment. But I appreciate everybody coming down to check it out. I definitely will be back next weekend with another live show here with my good old buddy, good old Maurice, and we'll have some interesting stuff to discuss once we find out what these changes are to the Sith raid, and maybe we'll have some more information on what characters are working next week. And I'm sure my guild, the Alliance Alpha, again, thank you guys for leaving the raid open for me to be able to do some battles here on the live show. They will, I'm sure, allow me to do some more coverage of the raid maybe next week as well on the live show if possible, so we can take a look and dive into what's going to work and what doesn't. And I'll try to get some information together from the rest of my guild to see if we can put our heads together and come up with some good teams for you guys and some good comps to discuss if some of you are maybe a little stressed out about some of the changes, so we can try to figure it out together and see if we can come up with some options that can replace Raid Jedi training, or maybe some other options that will be just as effective. So we'll take a look at it. But if you guys are looking for a guild, come over to the Alliance. You can join us at thealliancegaming.com. We're always in that Discord, just chatting it up. And if you just want advice and you just want to come chat, you're welcome to do that as well. But we have tons of great content on the website as well. So check out thealliancegaming.com for that. And as always, we'll be back next week. I wish you guys well. May the Force be with you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.